Peace and love out there. This is A-Bay with a quick message as a response to the overwhelming response we're receiving from clients reaching out to us in regards to their experiences that they are encountering on high pursuit of status correction. There are a lot of people out there taking people's money and not getting any results. So we want to do this video in response to that. It inspired us to let the people know and show and prove. I mean, we got all types of videos already online demonstrating our status ascension process and showing and proving. But here's another one. Also to help you identify the real from the fake. Identify who can help you and who can't.
Yep.
People are doing processes involving trust. People are doing processes involving secure party creditor, UCC liens. People are all types of stuff.
Yep.
All types of stuff. Declarations of nationalities and nationality cards. It's ridiculous, brothers and sisters. This is what it all boils down to. This is what it all comes to. This is what's important. It all comes down to one single factor. Are you dead or are you alive? It's just that simple. How many of you out there know the difference between a birth certificate and a certificate of live birth? How many? Okay. Well, let's go right over to the Law Dictionary online, 2nd edition, Black's Law. Difference between birth certificate and certificate of live birth. For most purposes of identification, people use the birth certificate as the original document, but some have recently heard about something called the certificate of live birth. What is the difference between the birth certificate and certificate of live birth? Hospital record of birth, certificate of live birth. The medical community has established the practice of using or issuing the certificate of live birth when a human being enters the world. This form will include the basics of the baby name, parent names, doctor names, hospital, sex, race, date of birth, and person completing the record. Healthcare professionals will then enter the information into their hospital database. At this point, the father should verify that the information on the form is correct. Mistakes can be made on the original form or during medical data entry. The mother will, of course, be stressed out and won't be able to concentrate when given the form. Corrections should be made before the birth certificate is officially issued. The certificate of live birth is a first unofficial draft of the fact that your mother gave birth to you. Once this information is complete, this certificate of live birth is sent to the Office of Vital Statistics or State Register to create the official birth certificate. Official government issue record of birth, birth certificate. For the sake of school, insurance, taxes, identification cards, and travel documents, you should use your birth certificate. While the certificate of live birth shows that you are medically alive, the birth certificate is the official record declaring your place of birth. Some people are not born in hospitals and don't have these other records. The United States federal government may not take your certificate of live birth for passport purposes either. There have been some difficulties with birth documents in Puerto Rico. It is always wise to have your official birth certificate in a safe deposit box. Remember that the live birth hospital form is primarily for data entry purposes. Your birth certificate is for official recording purposes and will have the signature and date of a state official on the bottom. It should be printed on high quality paper or cardboard with the registrar's embossed state seal in the corner for authenticity. This official birth certificate will also have a registration number so it can easily be looked up for reference. So here it is. The certificate of live birth demonstrates that you are alive. The birth certificate is for dead people, specifically without a certificate of live birth. So if you're pursuing status correction, you need not ask any other question of your guide, of your shepherd, of your teacher, than to simply have them produce a current certificate of live birth. And I say current because some people have parents or grandparents that have old certificates of live birth. But if you order it here and now, you're going to get a birth certificate because since you were born, you died. You've been deemed dead at sea, dead in the eyes of the law, sever little mortus. So if they're unable to produce a certificate of live birth, you need to run the other direction. They're trying to sell you snake oil. Here at Land, Air, Water Bureau, we get our clients a certificate of live birth.
Yep.
With the money back guarantee, we ensure that your status will be corrected to being alive as opposed to being dead. And here's why that's important. Clearfield doctrine. Let's look at Clearfield doctrine. How many of you are aware that the United States government is bankrupt? We're in a bankruptcy. It's public record. You've probably seen it on the channel. If not, check out our other videos. We clearly identify and make reference to that. But here it is. Governments have descended to the level of mere private corporations pursuant to the Clearfield Doctrine, Supreme Court Annotated Statute, Clearfield Trust Company versus United States. Whereas defined pursuant to Supreme Court Annotated Statute, Clearfield Trust Company versus United States, governments descend to the level of a mere private corporation and take on the characteristics of a mere private citizen, where private, corporate, commercial paper, Federal Reserve notes, and securities checks is concerned. For purposes of suit, such corporations and individuals are regarded as entities entirely separate from government. What the Clearfield Doctrine is saying is that when private commercial paper is used by corporate government, then government loses its sovereignty status and becomes no different than a mere private corporation. As such, government then becomes bound by the rules and laws that govern private corporations, which means that if they intend to compel an individual to some specific performance based upon its corporate statutes or corporation rules, then the government, like any other private corporation, must be the holder in due course of a contract or other commercial agreement between it and the one upon whom demands for specific performance are made. And further, the government must be willing to enter the contract or commercial agreement into evidence before trying to get the court to enforce its demands, known as statutes, codes, and ordinances. Brothers and sisters, that means that you have equal footing with your private corporation as the state. Many of you have it in the mind the state is all powerful.
Wow.
That is not the case pursuant to the Clearfield Doctrine.
Wow.
So the government as a corporation,
Wow.
in relation to you as an American national, as a state citizen, as a Moorish American, as an American national, you have sovereignty status over the state because you do not have a contract with them. This is the process that we involve ourselves with at Land Air Water Bureau. This is precisely how we beat court cases.
Wow.
Because of the bankruptcy, private citizens, known as American nationals, known as state citizens, known as Moorish Americans, have an inalienable right to discharge all public debt. Guess what, brothers and sisters? Court cases, civil, criminal, you name it, are charges.
Yep.
And just like what it's called, it is a financial term. It is a charge. So this is how we are successful. This is actually one of the many ways that we are successful at getting these court cases dismissed for our clients and ensuring that our clients can no longer be dragged into court because their status is corrected and it comes up immediately in the records of the state. Do not stop, do not detain, do not ask questions. You are alive. Statutes, codes, and ordinances do not apply to those who are living. The property is dealt with differently. So if you're pursuing the process of status correction, you need not ask whomever you're considering for business to simply produce a current certificate of live birth. Because here's one of our clients. You see at the top, it doesn't say State of Illinois. It says Illinois Department of Public Health, Division of Vital Records, Springfield, Illinois, state capital. Certificate of live birth. Look at the date it was issued. That's July of this year. This year. Not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago, not 40, 50, 60 years ago. We're talking about current, brothers and sisters. And you can see here that the date it was filed was 1978. So there is a living beneficiary on the estate, on the trust. This is the status you want to be in, brothers and sisters, to discharge all public debt, mortgages, car payments, you name it. All securities that are being hypothecated and traded. Once you are deemed to be alive, we go ahead and set you up to make your own deposits of money equivalent. That means all the securities that you're seeing on gmeiutility.org. For those that don't know, when you put in your social security number and see all of the securities being traded by the LEIs, that's in the public. You can make your own deposits and be reimbursed from the Treasury once you're qualified as being alive and a beneficiary of the public trust. I said enough here. We can go into it in future videos. A lot of it is already on the channel. Need I say more? If you're needing assistance with court case counsel, status correction, status ascension, reach out to us at landairwaterbureau.com. I'm out.